Hey, it's Raphael from Running Our Typesetting, and I thought in a little video I'll show you a trick in how to adjust taamey mikra. Now what we have here, we have an etnachta, that's the symbol that we're kind of highlighting here, but we're not quite managing. And of course, I'm just going to do a screenshot of it so we remember where it is. And what we need to do is that we need to move it down. Okay, so I can move it down manually like this. Okay, and it looks great, of course, but we want that to be built into the font. So the way to do this is to first go into Glyphs. And this is the Glyphs app. It's only available on Mac, unfortunately. But since I moved over to Mac about less than a year ago, I was able to go ahead and buy it. And what we're going to first do is we're going to do a glyph substitution. What we need to have is we need to go into the etnachta. See, the problem is the etnachta, I've already actually, of course, created it, but the etnachta have got anchors to the text. So we can't actually move it without moving the comats as well. So if I move the comats to the right, for example, right, then in the programming, right, then I'm faking it now just to show you. Then the etnachta will move, but then I have to move it all the way over there, which is not going to look very nice. So I need to somehow release the etnachta from the comats. And the easiest way of doing this is by just duplicating the etnachta. And I've created a new etnachta called etnachta free, which has no anchors on it. Okay, what I sometimes do just as a sanity check is I don't really need to. Okay, so I've got an etnachta free, but now we need to tell the font that we're going to do a substitution. So I try and keep this in order, and we do sub none, and I've made a class called wide, and wide includes the tzera, the segol, patach, and kamatz katan. Okay, so let's go back to that substitution, which should be complaining in a minute. Here we go. And we say if there's an etnachta, then we put this little single quote symbol, find by a nun final, okay, and then we're going to replace that etnachta with an etnachta free. Okay, so that's basically, we've written a bit of code to essentially get rid of the anchor points. So if we now export the font, now that etnachta is very much free. Okay, so now what we need to do is we can now alter the position of the etnachta using I'm using a Stream Deck actually that moves it. So basically, rather than having to mess around with diacritics positioning over here, I'm just using a Stream Deck, and I've programmed the Stream Deck to adjust where I want it to be using the Stream Deck Plus. I'm using dials, and I go, oh, that's quite nice. Okay, so what I've done is that gives me -20 and -90. Now we're going to go over here. I'm just doing a screenshot of that because I'm not going to remember that value. Actually, I'm going to go back again. I just wonder maybe I can go up a little bit more. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do -20, -80. Now we can, of course, the whole beauty of this is that we can adjust this afterwards. Okay, so now I'm going to reset it so that everything's on 0. And then going back to my code. So now I'm going to mark positioning. And now we need to find the none. So I've made a thing with collisions without trop, and now do collisions with trop. Okay, and I've done a filtering set to only pay attention to vowels, which is a class that I've made over here, and trop. Okay, all right. So now we go into mark positioning, and the way that I'm organizing it now, I might change my mind afterwards. Although I'm getting quite a few things written here. I need a nun followed by a nun sofit, right? So I don't actually, I do have over here. So here I have it already with other characters. Now, if you notice here, it says -20, -160. And the reason why is that in this font, the units per M are 2048 as opposed to being 1000. So everything I double. I mean, it should be times 2.048, but who cares? It's close enough, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm now going to, well, basically I'm going to just copy and paste this because it's more or less the same. All right. But change this to be the et nach tafri. And unfortunately, it's not the same as one of the others, because then that would have been really nice. Because then if I could have had it the same as the tipacha, then I could have just used the same code. But okay, never mind. And boom, Bob's your uncle. And now we have easily, quickly fixed that time. And every time that collision happens again in the font, this is the whole of Torah, the whole of Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. That's all been fixed. And then I just go on to the next one. But as you can see, see, it's already been fixed over here. This has been fixed previously. But you see, all these would have otherwise been collisions. And there you go. And now we have the same problem there. And now basically, very tediously, just going through everything and seeing wherever we have a collision. So here we have a collision. And again, we can choose to solve this collision in a different way. Now, see here, we could just turn the little bit to the right, okay? Because as you can see here, let's just move this like this. We've got quite a wide letter here. So the first thing I will do is, do I actually need to bring the metag, which is coded as siluk in Glyphs, or could I just do it here? And I think the answer is, this is fine, okay? So we're going to have -20 and 30, okay? Now, I never remember that. I'm very bad at remembering these things, but only because I'm trying to do a video at the same time, so it's a little bit harder. So let's just do a screenshot, okay? And then do a screenshot of the word karem, otherwise I'll completely forget where I am. Now, in this particular case, this is an easier situation, okay? I don't need to do a glyph substitution because I don't need to release the metag. I just need to deal with the metag, okay? So it's a collision with trop. It's a kaf, so I'm scrolling down. I don't have any kafs yet, I don't think. Probably do, actually. Yod, lamed, chaf, lamed, mem. Here we go. So I don't have a kaf yet. So kaf, resh, position. So let's start with the kaf. Now, because I have just going to go up a little bit, this is line 164, okay? I've used this filtering set, which means only pay attention to vowels and trop. So if there's a dagesh in it, and there is a dagesh here, just ignore it, don't pay any attention to it. Okay, so let's go down back to 164. So I don't have to have 2 lines of code, but I am getting 2 lines of code for the dagesh. But we are going to have 2 lines of code. It's a little bit annoying. So we do wide, we do siluk, that's the name of it. Now, then resh, and then wide. Okay, so we're going to move to the right 60, 0, 0, 0. So this value is horizontal, this is vertical, and the other two are a bit more complicated. We won't go into that right now. But if I want to now move the other, now when I've done this, it's going to complain. So let me just put this over here, and I'll finish writing the code. Okay, 30, and this is, I think, -40. Okay, so what have I done here? So the moment I tell it to move the wide, because the siluk, because the metag, it's actually a metag, not a siluk, is connected to the wide, then it's just going to move with the wide. Okay, so, but I don't need to now go into glyph composition. So I've got 2 lines. So this is going to move it 30 to the right, it's going to move 20 to the left. And they're going to have to put double the amount here because of the units per M. But I go back in. If I've done a good job, let me reset it. It's done it great. And now I've solved that word. We might get something a little bit more complicated. So here we've got hayayin, right? So here we go in, okay, and again, same story. So this is we're going to, well, firstly, let's do a copy of it. So let's see if we were to do this, we were to move it 50 to the right, okay, that's not going to look so great. So what we're going to want to do here is, oops, a little bit, that's why it's good to highlight everything in red, right? So let's just reset everything. Okay, so here we're going to go again and do that glyph composition, okay? So the first stage is to say that this tipcha, I want to use a free tipcha, as I call it, a tipcha free. I've already created it because I've been working on this for a while. So I can see it over here. See, this already exists. There's no anchors. It's called tipcha HB left. Okay, as opposed to the regular tipcha, which has got 2 anchors. Okay, and what we need to do now is we need to firstly release it. Okay, so I go into my tipcha list and I have a look and I'm doing yud and yud. So I don't have a yud already done, so I'm going to have to work. Okay, so yud, wide, tipcha left. This is what's going to be substituted. If it sees another yud, okay, followed by thin. Now, I'm going, hang on a second. This is the same as this, except with the nun and the yud, it's the same story. So what I can do is that I can make a class on the fly. See? So now I'm saying if because I've already done this, I already know I need to do this if there's a nun followed by a yud. So now if there's a yud followed by a yud, then we can release it. Great. So now we export the font and now we've released that tipcha. So now we have to position this tipcha. So I'm going to move it down. I'm not quite sure about how much. It's always a bit of a game. And it maybe I come back and change it afterwards if there's a tzera, because you see, if there's a tzera here, all right, let's type of tzera. I'm getting a little bit confused here. Let's delete, because the dagesh was put in there. Sorry, my bad. Put a dagesh. Yeah, I probably should put a little bit lower to take into account a tzera. Okay, so let's put that down a couple. Ooh, wrong button, wrong dials. Okay. So that should accommodate a tzera as well. Okay, and now I go to snag it, copy that. Now we're going to reset it so that when we go back into here, so we've already now made that a tipcha free, and now we're going to go to mark positioning. Okay, and it's probably worth having a look to see what happened with the nun yud. Is it the same value? Can I just use the same thing? So let's have a quick look. Certain points it's going to be a bit hard to do. No, it's going to be different numbers. Okay, so let's go back into yud, which we probably haven't created yet. Yud taf, yud resh, yud kuf, yud ayin. Let's go back. Here we go. Right. So we got a yud. This is just a comment followed by a yud. Okay, position, yud, HB. Okay, followed by wide, followed by our tipcha free, and this is what we're going to change, followed by yud, and I've made also a class called thin for the chirik and the shva. Okay, so now I'm going to, I've lost where I am now, but what can you do? Let's scroll down. This is why it's important to put comments in those. You can never find what you've done. Okay, and then again, it was -10, so we can back -20. And again, it should be 10 multiplied by 2.048, but it's close enough, as I said. Okay, -160, 0, 0. And if I've done it correctly, which would be very nice, ba-bam, it worked first time. So anyway, a bit of fun with glyphs. And I hope this has been useful for anybody who is programming taamey mikra fonts, which is probably a grand audience of who understands English. Might be a grand audience of 1 or 2. But if you enjoyed this, please do comment on the video because it'd be kind of cool.